Like everything else with children, it involves psychological warfare.
Yes. My favorite kind of warfare. about the only kind I can wage.
Hi, I'm Steve, and this is Then You Ruined It, a podcast where me and Jason try to get through just 20 minutes of human interaction without, well, ruining it. Buckle up, folks. It's gonna get bumpy. So, sometimes I feel really bad that I don't give you enough forewarning or warn you that I'm going to pop a topic and throw to you and be like, so, Jason, have you ever done this? And you're like, I wish I had time to think about it. So I'm going to throw to you now, and if you need a minute, we can pause. But if not, I'm going to keep going. Have you ever played a game where someone almost got stabbed?
Good Lord. Played a game where somebody almost got stabbed. Again, it's possible. Nothing comes to mind. And I feel like that's something that should be fairly top of mind if that had happened. So
yeah, I like, you know, when it's like, hey, what about a time that you heard a song lyric and it made you think something different? Obviously, you're going to have some of those, but you need time to think. This is an all or nothing. This is a binary. You either had a stab game or you never had a stab game. I had a stab.
There's definitely people I would hang out with that would do that, you know, the put your hand down and stab with a knife and be like, tell you, you know, hopefully don't stab your own finger, but, and I would walk away from those groups. I would be like, and now you've shown me that I don't need to be here. Thank you. Moving on. I'll keep my fingers. Thank you very much. Actual stabbings. I can't
almost stabbings. No one actually got stabbed. That is a very important detail that this, because I'm pretty sure there is no statute of limitations for stabbing a dude.
I don't know the legalities of it. I'm going to say if you are anywhere where somebody got stabbed, please report it.
And I would have, but I was somewhere where someone almost got stabbed. So I didn't report it until now on this show.
I don't think that counts, but please go ahead and tell your tale, and I will see if any stabbings come to mind.
All right. So, as I've stated, I have a lot of stories that begin with, this one time I was playing Capture the Flag. When I was in Boy Scouts, the big annual thing was always going to the week-long scout camp up in the mountains. We were at Camp Treasure Mountain, which was right in the base of the Grand Tetons. Beautiful place. You could hike right up to them, and there was a nice little lake and tall trees. It was right up in the... we called it Idaho because we weren't sure if we were in Idaho or Wyoming at that point, but it was just Idaho. And it was a great place. All these troops from all over the state came together, and they were all like, you'd camp at the same time. You go to ceremonies together, and then you compete at all these different events, like who could tie the most knots or who could do a canoe the fastest. Or we had the Battle of the Tetons, which was just everyone in canoes, and you tried to sink all the other canoes, and the last troop that had someone in a canoe won. So that was the kind of environment that we were in. So you had a lot of teenage hormones and nowhere to put them but competition and dirt. Competition and dirt.
Okay, that's wildly different than I would there would be three things I would think. Competition, what? Dirt, sex.
It's just a bunch of dudes. You're friends. You're not going to...
I thought it was co-ed. My apologies.
No. This is the 90s before girls were allowed to have fun.
It also depends on the group. I mean, it still could be, you know, but there's not. Okay, we're fine. Yeah. We're moving on. I apologize.
Yeah. So we took all of this pent-up rage that we have, and we started building a fort. One of the things they taught us how to do was to do lashing, where you can tie two sticks together, and if you do that enough times, you can make a very sturdy fort. So we built it was basically like a fire watch tower, but it was only probably, 15, 16 feet tall. We built that in the middle of our camp, and we had our flag up at the top of that, and that was our big, glorious contribution. All the leaders were like, you got to take that down. That's not safe. And we're like, oh, go up there and take a look. And they'd climb up. They're like, wow, you did an amazing job. You need to leave this up so we can show the other scouts how to do lashing and why they should pay attention during this merit badge, because they can build cool stuff like this. We're like, yeah. So as the nights progressed, we became aware that there was another troop who thought they were the best at Capture the Flag. And we knew they could not possibly be the best at Capture the Flag because we were the best at Capture the Flag. And their insult of claiming that they were the best would not stand, and we decided to settle it like men. So we arranged a big capture the flag competition. So we had flags in each of our camps. Did you play a lot of capture the flag? I feel like everyone had different rules for capture the flag.
Not like outside of school, but there was one time, there was one like period in school, I think it was in 5th grade, where we had a massive field out behind our school, and we would go out there and play like, I feel like we got like 3 different grades together. There was so many kids. It was just like the most massive game of capture the flag I've ever seen. So yes, I did play.
Okay. You didn't play like this.
Okay.
We were intense. Both literally and figuratively. Because we were camping. It's a very clever dad joke. You're going to laugh about that one later.
It's not clever. It was very obvious. Heard it many times.
The basic rules is we had a huge neutral zone between us. It wasn't a very well thought out thing. Like your campground was, you could be captured in the other troops' campground, and that was it. So the huge like quarter mile between the two was all neutral zone. So there wasn't a lot we could do there to capture each other or anything. It was just a lot of running around and being dorks. So we decided that the best offense was a good defense. And we set up traps throughout the camp, like some very prepared pacifist Rambo, where we would take the twine that we used to build the fort and we would just tie it across 2 trees. And then when people would come in, we would chase them into it so they would clothesline themselves and fall on their butts and we could grab them. That was awesome. We would hide up in that fort and drop down on them like a bunch of drop bears. That was good times. Our adult leader, the person who was supposed to be our role model, would go to where we had all the kids captured, hold them down and write POW on their foreheads with magic marker. And there's no soap in the camp, so you cannot get that off. That was just there the rest of the time.
That is not cool.
I respect that man more than I'll ever respect you.
Thanks. My apologies. I haven't done enough hazing in my life of children.
No, you haven't.
Got to work on that character trait. I've been hired for any jobs lately. Why not? Well, been too nice to children.
I didn't hurt anybody enough. And the one where it thought, oh, perhaps we have gone too far, was me and my friend. We were doing some scouting. So we were in this massive no man's land, just walking slightly off the beaten path. And some kids come the other way on the beaten path. And we jumped out. And we're like, hey, what are you doing? What troop are you from? And then they're like, we're from this one. And then my friend pulls out, he had stashed under his arm, like Riddick from the Chronicles thereof, a big old kitchen knife that he just whipped out. I had no idea it was there. And he pointed it at the kid's throat. And he's like, what troop are you from? And the kid freaked out because he was not from the troop we were playing Capture the Flag against. He did not know what was going on. In his mind, he was just walking to the bathroom. And some kid jumped out of the woods and pulled a knife on him.
As you do.
So, in the end, they cheated and won, and we were very pissed.
That's like when you go play. I've never done paintball myself. So I can't say during that. But like laser tag, when you get the one group that's played way too much Call of Duty, and they take like the high position, and they won't let anybody else even move. You have to like make your own game outside of their game because their game sucks so much because it's so hard to win. Like that is the militia training that you and your friends were doing with like childhood games. And the adult got in on it too.
Yeah. Well, because, here's the thing. You're sitting here like, man, that was hazing. That was really bad. That adult shouldn't have done that. Can you imagine what we would have done if left to our own devices if there had not been an adult there writing on kids' heads with markers?
I mean, yeah, it would have been Lord of the Flies. One of you would have ended up dead, and it would have been like, well, no, he deserved it. Ultimately. we probably would have stuck something, I don't know, up his nose. I don't know. Killed a guy. I thought you were going a different place there.
Yeah, but then they made the whole big deal about how there was no way to harness your sexual frustrations but building a fort, so I didn't want to say jamming something up someone's urethra.
And we've come full circle. Yeah. Probably, most likely, yes. He was doing that stuff to be one of the boys and have fun, but he was like secretly on the side, like making sure that, yeah, like one of you like were like whittling down a stick to be like, that'll be a good spear. Like practicing stabbing it into a tree. And he's like, and I'll break that in half. And we don't have that anymore. There you go.
We don't need any firebrands. We don't need...
Yeah. All right, I got it to a good temperature. Let me try that. Yeah, that squirrel burned nice. You'll enjoy that. So, and I take that and I throw it in the lake. No more. That's most likely what was happening there.
He saved a kid's life that night by writing POW002 on his forehead.
Like you said, I mean, well, again, it is like Lord of the Flies. Whereas, at one point, at the end, when the adults discover them and shit has gotten real, that would have been the point where, if right before Piggy had to die, an adult showed up and be like, hey, boys, what are you doing? And be like, oh, wait, we're children. I forgot. Instead of, no, kill the fat one.
Piggy doesn't have to die.
Right, exactly. They should have known that, but, they got carried away. So if an adult had jumped in there and said, I don't think you should do that, and been like, oh, you're right. Shucks, oh, gee, gosh, golly.
That's how you teach a child, is you act like you're in on it, and you act like you're going to escalate, but then you de-escalate. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's get that Piggy. We're going to show him. The adult's like, yes, we will. And let me show you how we show Piggy what's up. And then you give Piggy a wedgie. Everyone's like, that's a horrible adult who gave a wedgie to a fat kid. But really, that wedgie saved Piggy's life.
Love how we're just automatically calling it. It's a fat kid, and his name has to be Piggy because of Lord of the Flies.
No, we're referencing Lord of the Flies.
I know. I get that, but it's mean to the fat kid. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of instances where I've done this myself now, where it's like, I'm one of you, but also sabotage, and you don't know it. It's countless probably. I'm sure there's been plenty of times when it's like, okay, I need to go check on the kids and see what they're doing, and I see what they're doing, and it's like, okay, I have to, as you said, de-escalate this. I have to nullify this, or someone's going to die. So let me just take this, and you can have this instead. There we go. We're happy still, but you have to. It's a subtle art because you have to be able to do it without them knowing that you're doing it, or know that you're really what you're really doing.
Oh yeah. Like everything else with children, it involves psychological warfare.
Yes. My favorite kind of warfare. about the only kind I can wage. If it actually comes. My son, oh God, yesterday before school, shoved me down. He is 6. But he caught me in such a compromise. Like my feet were like tangled up. There was a bunch of, not furniture, but there was a beanbag and stuff. There was a bunch of stuff around me. So I couldn't go anywhere. And he shoved me in such a way that I just fell over. I couldn't go anywhere. And I hit my arm on a TV tray that was up at the time. And I was pissed at him, but also just like, oh, that really hurt my, like, I'm old. I told him, I was like, I'm getting old. And you can't be shoving me down like that. That's not okay. And I was like holding my arm for a while, just like, oh man, I really hope you didn't do something to that. Well, I didn't do something to it, but yeah, that really hurts. And of course it's gone now. And I don't even know where I hit it. It was this one. But at the time, I was kind of worried because I was like, uh-oh, he's 6 and he's still like half my size. Can he already kick my ass?
So how are you going to get him back?
Like you said, psychological warfare.
Yeah. You got to have a plan. Let's plan this out.
Oh, it's not difficult. I mean, he uses one of the Google alarm clocks, so it's connected to the internet. So, oh yeah, there's he stands no chance. I will infiltrate his dreams. I will haunt his nightmares, and he won't even know it.
You're just going to come over the Alexa, pee your pants, pee your pants,
or just play something really creepy sounding, and he doesn't even know it. And it leads him to nightmares. He's like, Daddy, I've been having weird dreams. It's like, oh, yeah, son. Let's talk about it.
And then he 4D chesses you and he's like, Dad, I'm really scared. I feel like there's a ghost in the laundry room. And you're like, oh, crap. I think there's a ghost in the laundry room. And now you have nightmares.
That has absolutely happened in the form of him not being scared of the utility room, but I am. So he'll go in there and hide. And he does not care because he knows there's nothing in there that's going to hurt him. But I assume everything in there is going to hurt him. And so I'm terrified of him being in the room. I'm terrified. I don't want him in there because I'm worried for his safety somehow, So, yeah, no, he's already won that battle. Yeah, if he goes to a dark place, like a literal dark place, I cannot follow him. And the worst was him doing that, but it was after. So, long story short, currently our upstairs bathroom and our bedroom, my wife and I bedroom area, is off limits because of a leak. So we've been showering downstairs. I've been showering downstairs in the basement, right outside this office right now. And so he'll shower down here as well now. And when you go to the stairs to go upstairs, that's where the utility room is. It's at the bottom of the stairs. So that's where he would just disappear. And I'd be like, okay, now I know where he's at. He's going to jump out at me. And it was one night after his shower. And of course, he's a young boy. So he loves to run away from after the shower without his towel. So he's completely naked. So he ran off and I thought he was already upstairs. So I started going upstairs and I was halfway up the stairs when he jumped out completely naked out of the dark. He went, boo! And I jumped up the stairs and I simultaneously wanted to like throw a knife at him. Like I really like mercenary crap. Like I really wanted to kill this creature for the safety of my family. And when I realized it was him, I was like, you have no idea the danger you are in right now. And he's like, what? I was just trying to scare you again. It's like, yes, but your father has some dark secrets. He's not going to tell you for a while, but just don't do that.
And yet, you're convinced you can beat him at psychological warfare.
Oh, the psychological,
I don't think
absolutely.
You can. He's got you. He knows what room you're scared of. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Then You Ruined It. If you enjoy our flavor of nonsense, please like and subscribe wherever you found us. And please share with your friends and cooler family members.